Hello, everyone. This is Chaim Durst. Thank you for joining me today. I'd like to talk about how to move the reader. I've read thousands of essays. In fact, I read about 1,500 essays each year. And the ones that immediately grab me are ones that demonstrate three qualities. The first is vulnerability. In my favorite movie, Blade Runner, there's a scene where Harrison Ford is broken, is at risk, losing his life. I root for him at that very moment. My heart leaps out and wants to ensure that he survives. Think of your favorite book. Do you root for protagonists that are arrogant, that are showy, that are impeccable? Or do you root for the outcast, the underdog? We live in a society that celebrates the underdog. We naturally root for someone who is vulnerable. Just so, the admissions officers tend to gravitate towards readers who are willing to show that vulnerability. Let me give you an example. Oftentimes, students will come to me and say, well, Chaim, I want to write about a success I've had or some service that I've done. And I go, it's wonderful that you've had that success or you've done that service. But what does that show about your character? What does that show about your worldview? What does that show about your internal mechanisms, your psychology, your outlook on life? Wouldn't it be better to talk about a time that you failed, a time that you've struggled, an obstacle you faced? And by doing so, you show the reader that you're willing to be vulnerable. That's a quality that you'll need in college. When you're doing research or when you're with a professor, if you're not willing to be vulnerable, it's unlikely that you'll learn. The second quality that I look for, and I believe admissions officers look for based on the success of essays over the years, is demonstrating self-knowledge. Again, that's tied to vulnerability. If you have self-knowledge, generally you're willing to be vulnerable. What is self-knowledge? It's one of the hardest things to acquire in life. Who am I? How did I get this way? Who do I want to be? What's stopping me from becoming who I want to be? And what steps do I need to take to become the person I desire to be? But it all starts with, who am I? What do I identify as? A teacher? A son? A writer? An artist? Part of the self-examination process that I go through with students is brainstorming. We have a very in-depth process where I ask students about aspects of themselves, to look at aspects of themselves that they may not want to, or maybe that they've never tried to in the past. So vulnerability, number one, is self-knowledge, number two, and number three is the capacity to grow. My purpose in life is to grow my understanding, grow my capacity to love, grow my capacity to serve, grow my knowledge, certainly. You need to show the reader that you are committed to growing. All three of those qualities, vulnerability, self-knowledge, and the capacity to grow, are intertwined. If you can demonstrate those in a poignant, effective, and moving manner, you are likely to move the reader and increase your odds of getting into the college of your choice. Thank you for joining me today. Once again, my name is Chaim Durst.